because I think that was the huge step, is saying I am an artist. I don't care if you roll a wall. If you roll a wall and you can cut a line and you can make that have no halos and no holidays and no, and it's perfect, that's art.
Welcome to Broad Strokes, a paint contracting podcast for women by women. We know how much hard work and dedication it takes to run a successful painting business, and this is the place for us broads to BS all about it. Join your host, Tana Todd, and celebrate the achievements of women who are kicking ass in the world of paint contracting. Let's BS about it. Welcome back, everyone, to the Broad Strokes podcast, a paint contracting podcast for women by women, and today hosted by the big bad wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. Yes, what big eyes you have. How are you today, Annie?
Liz, how are you?
I am fabulous. I do have the pleasure of BSing with you all the way from Oregon today. How's the weather?
Foggy and beautiful Oregon sunshine.
Yes. I liken life in the Pacific Northwest like living in Britain. You get how's the line go? Get a tan from standing in the English rain, right?
Yeah.
Same over there.
We love liquid sunshine here.
Yeah, right? When you say liquid sunshine in Colorado, that just means like a wheat beer. Oh, I love it. Beer's on the brain. I've done Sober October all month just because money savings and calories, and that's all I can think about is a nice cold IPA.
I don't do the IPAs. I'm into a nice porter.
A porter, like a stout. A nice heavy beer.
I like to put a spoon in my beer and have it stand right up.
Almost like Turkish coffee, right?
Exactly.
Just more intoxicating.
I like Turkish coffee too.
Hey, what do you know? I got a funny story about that. But we're BSing with Annie Margarita today. And Annie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners out there? Tell them all about who you are and what you do.
Oh gosh, I do so many things. I first started as just an artist, a painter, and I went in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And everywhere, because I went in the Marine Corps because everybody said I couldn't make it as an artist, I'd starve. So I'm like, well, I'll go in the military and see the world. So I went in the Marine Corps, and everywhere I went in the Marine Corps, they wanted a mural. So I did murals all over the world, and then I got out. I'm like, heck with this, I'm just going to be an artist. So I went to Orlando, and I became a scenic artist at all the theme parks.
Wow.
Helped build Animal Kingdom. Excuse me. Worked on Universal Studios and SeaWorld. And then I was working in Holland on a job for the Blijdorp Aquarium, and I messed up my shoulder. Bending steel, because I was a brute, so I would bend steel. And so
I hope everyone heard that.
And I started a mural and paint company as I went to college and became an interior designer. And then I left that back in 2014, and I went north to Oregon, and now I do a lot of leather and paintings. And so now what I do is I do a lot of fine art, custom leather. I teach online classes with the Paint Hive to try and keep my knowledge from dying out. I plaster, still a little stuff. I still do a little bit of muraling, and I do a lot of paint and a lot of leather now.
That's way awesome.
That's kind of my background. I mean, I ran my paint company for, I think, about 15 years. But had to give it up because of my shoulders got so bad from painting on the ceilings and all of that. Mostly murals and decorative finishes.
I have met some of the gals in the decorative finish world through Paint Hive, Cindy Howard, everyone, and just the incredible art that you folks make. It blows my mind. Like when I think of art, I think of, like sculpting a naked person, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I'm thinking of like paint contracting. I'm like, okay, so this is very utility, and then in the middle, in this beautiful space, there are all these creative women and men, and on this show, women, doing some incredible making art and just turning people's homes into museum quality experience is just incredible. Mm-hmm. That's so fun. That must feel good.
It's really cool because, layering the different techniques, because I was a painter. Mm-hmm. The murals just came. Well, actually, I did my first mural when I was like 13.
What was it of?
Middle school. It was this Broadway plays for the chorus. Uh-huh. So I did this huge backdrop for our production. And so and then I found out, later on, probably when I was about 35, my mom started doing genealogy, and she found out that I'm a 4th generation interior designer.
What?
And I'm like the only one in this whole huge family that's really doing what my grandfathers did. It's just strange. So I remember my grandfather being a house painter, uh-huh. But then it came out that he actually did murals and did some decorative paint and stuff like that back when it was, way back in the, 50s and 40s and 50s, mm-hmm. And I don't really remember that, but it must have imprinted in some way, because I didn't really grow up around my big family in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So it's weird how it's in my blood. Paint's pretty much in my blood, I guess.
That is so cool.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah. I wonder sometimes, I think I was chatting with another guest I had on yesterday, Jackie Coral. We were talking about neural pathways and similarities in people and passions and the types of work and hobbies we choose, right? And maybe it's not, maybe your artistry is in, being a print shop operator and organizing tiles for an old-fashioned print press. But somewhere in there's like this mm-hmm. common line, this thirst, this hunger to express yourself artistically, and the way that it comes out in, multiple generations, I think is really fascinating to see. I know in my family too, there's been some interesting discoveries about people's career choices. Like I have a long lost paternal father, like a father that did printing pressing and into detail and really appreciates copy editing. And those are all things that I also enjoy. And I just do that digitally now. And it's kind of like, how do you kind of morph into a family member by accident? It's kind of cool and serendipitous.
That's kind of a cool thing, because my dad from the other side of the family was a stripper.
Okay. Oh, is that also in your blood?
Okay. A 4-color stripper printer.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we were going to say, did we go to the pole place already on Broad Strokes? We did.
Well, okay, so, yeah, he was a printer, and the computer kind of ended his career, because he did it manually. Yeah. The dot matrix stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And... yeah, so he was really good at that, and used to work at all the... oh, come on.
I couldn't hold on.
He used to work at all the printing presses up in Wisconsin. They had so much production up there, because that's where the paper came from. So.
Oh, yeah, because...
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
That's
so
he was wild. He was a stripper. There's a song for that. I'm not going to sing it on air, though. Somebody better come and get her. She dancing like a stripper. I'm sorry. Oh, fans of Bob's Burgers everywhere, rejoice. Well, that is really interesting, the way we find ourselves into our passion place, our passion work. It's kind of a serendipitous occurrence. So something that you and I have in common is military service, right? You're a Marine. And by the way, if anybody missed that a second ago when she said she was bending steel, if there's any question in your mind that women are bad asses and so strong, there you have it. She brought the gun show to the show, folks.
I tell you. When I was young, I used to drive a stagecoach.
No.
And I was a stunt girl, Wild West stunt girl.
Who are you?
I went in the Marines, and I was an expert, rifleman, and I was the best in my whole series, which is 2 platoons, in the Marine Corps with Parris Island.
Yeah.
But because my stepdad was a Green Beret, and they wouldn't let women in the Green Berets back then, I had to one-up them and be a jarhead, so...
That is fabulous. So similar. Oh, sorry, go on.
It was fun. I'm glad I went in. I'm really glad I got out.
Same. Mm-hmm. Yeah, ditto.
Ditto boys club.
Oh.
They don't like it when you kick their butts.
No, they don't. Ooh, we can get. There's going to be some tea sipped on the show today. So my most life-changing experiences with gender and identity came through military service, right? I was raised by this gruff old dude that was just like, listen, life's not fair and nobody cares, so just show up and work hard, and if you're not the best, work harder.
Exactly.
All right. And then I ended up in the Army, and I found out that, I really did. I had to perform at an absurdly high level to receive what I would consider equal respect. And, it's not about kudos and getting pats on the back. It's just about, baseline respect. And it was so challenging to me. And I was shocked and angry and very sad for a long time. Like, what do I got to do to feel like I have value? And then I remembered, okay, well, I have to stop deriving my value from the opinion of others and just be a star and be good with that. So it took me about 6 years to figure that out. And by then I was ready to get out of Uncle Sam's Army too.
Yeah, it was rough being a babylicious in the Marines, so I got a lot of that sexual harassment stuff, and I was done with it. I was, you go in there, you do your job, and you hump your pack, you do your job. I was a mechanic, and I went in open contract, and they made me a diesel mechanic, and I was the only female in the entire diesel mechanic school, 400 men and me.
Wow.
And it was hell. And that's what, boot camp was bad enough, but it was hell. And then I moved over into imagery intel. And actually, that's kind of when it became more of a problem, because with imagery intel, I was detached to, command units as a photo interpreter. So like the general's command and stuff like that. And I would go away from my unit. And then I was away from the protection of my unit. And I was just kind of out
on an island.
WMs. And so that's when I was actually more exposed to stuff,
Stuff. We're going to put a big air quotes around stuff. With a capital S and a capital T for trauma. Oh, we could laugh about it because we're tough broads, right?
Yeah. But the cool thing is, though, because, I got out as a corporal. They wouldn't promote me as sergeant because I started getting a little belligerent. And, it was really good for my harmony.
Yes.
Get out. And then because I had all that military experience and I was really strong because, running and lifting weights and all of that, I went
being yourself, you mean? Just being yourself, you mean? Strong and badass?
Yeah.
I don't even think it took the Marine Corps to pull that out of you. You already had that.
Well, yeah, so it just kind of expanded on it, right?
Yeah.
So when I went to Disney to work as a painter, they didn't have anything for us to paint. So they cross-trained me. Right. They hired me to build Animal Kingdom as a painter. And they're like, well, we can start you today as a sculptor, or we can, you can wait 2 weeks and then we'll start you as a painter. And I was like, well, what do you mean start me today as a sculptor? I was like, I've never sculpted anything.
What is putty? So, what do I do with my hands?
We're talking concrete and steel to build the animal containment. And so I was like, yeah, that sounds really interesting. I've never done that. So the Imagineers kind of trained us, to sculpt mud banks and check it out. And I was good at that. So then they kept promoting me to rocks, and then they promoted me to trees.
Promoting you to rocks?
Actually, yeah, they promoted me to trees. Making concrete trees.
You call them and say, oh, I'm so proud, Mama. I got promoted today. Oh, sweetie, well, what'd you get promoted to?
I'm a tree frog.
I could paint a frog. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
I could make a tree. So they found out that, we started bending steel because I would, they were showing us how to build them and everything.
Obviously with your bare hands.
So I was so strong that most women couldn't handle it,
Yeah.
So that's how I jacked up my shoulders, working, doing steel.
Yeah. My question is,
steel.
I mean, I'm sure you got used to the gawks that looks like, holy crap. Like, just watch her do it. I remember those eyes when I would lift the heavy thing and put the heavy thing down. I'm all of 5 feet 4 inches. And at the time, I was like 130 pounds, right? So I'm like, I could pick this thing up like a leaf cutter ant. No problem.
Yep.
But it really is different. And that within, the painting industry, did you receive any kind of, did you get treated the same by your peers in painting as you did in the Marine Corps, or how did that change for you?
Actually, I think because I was such a,
nice person.
I wore a pink hard hat on Disney property when I was doing concrete. There's a sea of other colors, but mine was pink, and they knew where I was at any given time, But they promoted me to lead in crews right away because I was fast. I was, meticulous with my look, and they start, mostly in concrete and steel, and even the paint crews are all male, but I was so used to males that were aggressively strong, and these guys were just a bunch of artists, strong artists. I was really good at bossing them around because I was kind of a mother type.
Of course.
Boss them around.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good career.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mostly I didn't have a problem after the Marines because I could pretty much hold my own.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to take me, so it was easy to buffalo them.
Buffalo them. Push them around.
And because I could keep up with the work.
Yes, that also helps.
Actually,
credibility.
I worked a lot faster and harder, I think, because of my background.
Yeah.
That, when you get used to that, you're just, it's second nature, and so that's why whenever somebody, like if I have, like when we had the restaurant at the inn that I worked, as a resident artist, and my sweetheart owns the inn. We had a restaurant, and so we had a bunch of people apply, and a woman Marine applied as a chef, and I'm like, yep, she's good.
In.
Hire her.
Green check mark.
Yep. So it's like, we have problems, but you're going to get a hard worker.
Yeah, you bet. It's something you don't put down super easily, is that tenacious work ethic. And of course, with the pressures of being a female in the military, you just become almost manic into work, right? I found myself that way, meticulousness and wanting to be perfect. And that doesn't always come out in the best ways, right? Sometimes my over perfectionism costs me some time, but I refuse to sacrifice quality. So I tend to clamp down on that pretty hard.
And you take on a lot more too, I think, than other people because the drive of getting stuff done. It's like, okay, well, I can do more. I remember 2004 was my best year. I mean, I sold like $230,000 worth of paint that year.
Wow.
And I had 3 days off.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so
it's funny the way you say I sold 280,000 in paint.
230
in paint. I'm like, you sold that in blood, sweat, and tears, my girl.
Murals. I tell you, the plaster is really good. I was selling plaster for $20 a square. And
dang. You
had big, huge rooms of plaster. It was like bank,
Big bank. Money.
Yeah, I don't think I can handle it as much anymore. Not a whole, do 1,000 square feet in a week. I can't do that anymore, but
work-life balance is something we come to appreciate, At some point, it's not that us vets run out of steam. It's that we finally just go, okay, I can rest now. I think I deserve to rest. I need to run my business a little bit differently so we can just take a chill pill.
Well, I realized I'm tired.
Yeah, and you have to acknowledge your tiredness.
Yeah. Isn't it cocktail hour yet?
Shoot, it's coronavirus. Every hour is cocktail. See, I've already been drinking. No, that's not true. Sober October, remember? This episode is being recorded on Halloween Eve, Friday the 30th. So this is going to publish well after Halloween and into November. But if anybody's wondering why the hell I'm dressed like a wolf, it's because it's the season. But yeah, I would certainly appreciate a cocktail now. That'd be great.
Well, this coronavirus sure keeps the wine cellar empty.
It does. Some of the stats coming out on what, we have a lot more access to American statistics, but the amount of wine and pizza that has been ordered and consumed, just, oh, goodness gracious. We're all going to need to get a complimentary treadmill from somebody. Well, I love we've been walking in a similar pair of boots in our lives and finding our way into our passion place. And now you're overcoming some challenges of a different nature, right? We earlier we were talking about the fire season, I think right before we actually officially started this cast. And as we all know, 2020 has been a rough one for Oregon, the entire Pacific Northwest, Northern California. Colorado's been on fire ablaze for the entire summer. And of course, that has hit you particularly hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a pretty rough summer. Well, the summer, we thought we were going to sneak through, because usually fire season starts, right in August.
Yeah.
Well, in July, really. And we've had some close calls in the last few years, but this one was crazy. We knew there was a storm coming.
Yeah.
The storm, they were saying like 3 days ahead of time, they knew that storm was coming.
Yeah.
And we got a signal. And we started smelling smoke, in the afternoon, like in the early evening, and we heard that Detroit, Oregon was on fire.
Oh,
so we're like, okay, we must be getting smoke from that. It's blowing in. And it was going in the opposite direction. It was coming from the eastern direction, and that's really unusual, and that's why the storm was supposed to be, a big one, because it was going the wrong way. Usually it's only in the winter that we get those.
Yeah.
And so we had warning, and we didn't have a warning system. So when they turned the lights off at 8:30, we were like, oh, they're just doing it for the storm. They're being precautionary. Well, they turned the lights off too late because the fire started at 8:30 when we went to bed, and we didn't have any signal. We didn't know there was a fire in the valley. And what had happened is one of the lines went down upriver, and we've had fires 20 miles upriver, and it never affected us. But in 4 hours, the fire moved 20 miles.
What?
20 miles. It was blowing, I think it was 65 miles an hour winds.
Oh my gosh.
And we were all sleeping. And we didn't get any signal.
No warning.
12:41, I got a beep from my phone, finally, a code 3, get out, and I heard the megaphones right like 2 minutes after that. Well, no, 2 seconds after that. They started with the megaphones. Get out now, don't take anything. And so we have a lot of family living at the inn, because we closed the inn a year or two ago, and all our family moved into the cabins, so we're all a family unit. So I was like, I got to go knock on everybody's doors. I was like, Bert, get the kids,
round them up,
the dogs,
get them out.
Everybody round up, and I went banging on all the cabins. And when I was going to the last cabin with Ellie, she was asleep. She's like mid 70s, and I'm banging on her door, and she's not coming. And I'm like banging and banging and banging, and I'm seeing the flames.
Oh gosh!
Right up on the corner. Like they're like 2 blocks away, and
65-mile-an-hour winds.
Banging, and finally she's all grumpy, and she's like, "Why are you banging on my door?" I'm like, "Get out!
Time to go now!"
So we all jumped in the car and got out with the dogs, our cell phones, and our people, and that's it. And the whole Ellie's cabin actually was the only one that didn't burn.
Oh my gosh!
And the whole, all our, suites, our main lodge, gone. Everything gone. My studio gone. Everything.
So you said
my inventory, all my tools, I had actually a brand new mic for my sound recordings, and that was in the box.
Drat.
Everything just gone. And we sat down at Thurston High School, and we're like, for 2 weeks, we didn't know whether we had a house or not, because nobody could get up there because the fire was still raging. We were right in the heart. If you look at the fire map, we were right in the heart of the dragon.
Oh my
Nimrod.
Gosh.
Yeah. And the weird thing is finally we get up there. Nimrod is actually a historical place. It's actually where the American drift boat was kind of invented.
Oh, cool.
It was like a dory, a rowing wooden dory. And they were taking them down the McKenzie River, and they're like, gee, let's switch, how you kind of row backwards in a rowboat? Well, in Nimrod, they decided, why don't we face forward and row downriver,
Oh.
So they invented the drift boat right in our little neighborhood.
That's cool.
And so we come home. We come home to this disaster, and sitting in the parking lot is Bert's 1946 McKenzie drift boat, completely untouched.
What?
Yeah.
That is so bizarre.
In the middle of the fire, and it's completely untouched. So we were like, okay. Let's rebuild.
Let's rebuild. So you mentioned the inn, and I'm not sure if you'd said the name of the inn there.
McKenzie River Inn.
McKenzie River Inn. Okay.
It's been it was a historical bed and breakfast since 1978.
Wow.
And Bert's owned it for 20 years, and he just, he's retired. He's retirement age. So he retired, and we were just gonna, do leather and paint, and poof, Corona started. All the shows canceled, and I was just kind of sitting on all my stuff, and then this, and I'm like, okay, 2020,
bring it on, I guess.
But
kiss it. God, what a literal fire-breathing dragon hell of a year. Yep. So with the fire and everything, having proper insurance and everything accountable in that scope, have you run into any issues, and did you have a good system set up, and you're going to get taken care of, right?
Kind of, sort of.
What's up?
Homeowners insurance does not cover a business.
Okay.
And because we had just switched from being a business to being retired.
No.
Yeah. So, we're going to have to not claim my business stuff in order for him to get the insurance on the building, because it's a detached studio. And so it's still, and he's like, don't talk about that stuff because of State Farm. So I'm like,
we will leave it at there. We don't want to get anybody in trouble.
But, so insurance doesn't cover that kind of stuff unless you get an artist studio writer. I mean, I always use a writer. I was using a writer when I go to somebody else's home. I call the insurance. I say, I need a $3 million writer because I'm going to be in somebody else's home, and that's no problem. But when you operate a business out of your house and then you have inventory, then inventory is not covered. So,
got it. So
because most of the equipment was Bert's to begin with, because he was a leather hobbyist when I met him. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping that that's all going to be replaced.
Well, we'll fingers crossed. I certainly hope that you do get some replacement on that. That is just such an unfortunate timing of events, huh? Just right in the. You just kick a woman once she's down, can you? Can we not?
And I had a plan.
You had a plan. And we like to talk about our systems and processes here at the Pro Painter Network, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, goodness.
And that's what I would never not have studio insurance again.
Yeah, that would be a must. Listeners, get it.
And renter's insurance. Because now that we're displaced, and this is my new studio.
Looks kind of cool from what I can see.
Oh, yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. So this is going to be my new house right here.
I love it. Schematics are up.
I have an interior design degree and architectural background, so
right?
This is what it's going to be.
Look at this woman. She can fix it her damn self.
God damn it. Give me a hammer.
Give her a hammer. Get this woman a hammer. She will build it herself. I think that if we were holding tryouts for Zombie Apocalypse Squad Leader, I would instantly hire you.
Oh, thanks. This way.
I have this kind of weird way that I judge relationships, right? When I meet new people, I go, if the economy, like let's just say 2020 goes all the way, burns everything to the ground, and we're all fending for ourselves, us butterfly chasing artists and builders and people like you and me. I think that you would certainly have a place at the I May survival wagon.
You know what I'm worried about now?
What's that?
New Year's Eve, we're going to all say, heck with you 2020. But now I'm more worried about 2021's going to say, hey, hold my beer.
No! Slap the beer out of their hands and like, listen, universe, you need to stop drinking. That's what you got to do. I think 2020 needed to have a sober October, but nay.
Yeah.
Here we are.
They say hindsight's 2020.
Right.
Let's get it out of there.
Oh my God. So you have the schematic going for your new home. That's exciting. Do you have, is it going to be your dream project? Like, are you able to finally, like, kind of down to the schematics, make it exactly what you want?
Oh, gosh. It is so amazing because, all right, I had, our design style, because both, Bert's from Holland and I lived in Europe, especially when I was working over there. We had French antiques, beautiful stuff. And when you have French antiques, you have to design around them. Right?
Of course. Yeah, you don't get rid of those things. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so now it's like, okay, we're living on the river because we're right on the river. And we've decided that we want to do modern craftsmen.
Cool.
We have kids, so they get their own suites, because it possibly when the kids inherit, possibly could be another bed and breakfast. So we're going to build it as a potential bed and breakfast because it is commercial residential. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be elements in there that's going to have a bar.
A bar.
How many? Well, we had a bar in the last one because we had a bed and breakfast. So
right, exactly.
We had a bar.
Liquor license.
So we're going from 4 taps down to 2 taps.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
We all slow down in the odd years. No, I'm kidding.
It's just, you were saying you're an IPA girl. I'm not an IPA girl. So Bertie's an IPA guy because we're in Oregon,
right.
Home of the IPA.
Of course.
So, we'd be like at each other's throats if there was only one beer tap.
So you got a brown tap and you got an IPA tap.
Exactly.
Perfect. That's awesome. It's exciting. I want to go on a road trip and come visit your lodge when it's all built again. That'll be fun.
Oh, you've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to. Yeah. So we're probably going to have a guest house with a studio combo detached. We're hoping that we can afford that in the fire budget, because it was a huge property. I think we had
how many square feet or square miles, maybe even?
Oh yeah, square miles. I think it was altogether. I think it was probably around 8,000 square feet, like 9 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms.
Dang.
And jetted tubs, and so we're gonna go half as big and make it really nice. Yeah. And the whole thing is, man, the finishes in this place is gonna be.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. I hope you document that really well.
Yeah, I'm actually right now I'm building a video for the Paint Hive because I'm one of their instructors.
Yes.
And I'm going to do a course on layering effects and fresco secco muraling kind of thing.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I'm going to be doing some boards, big boards showing how you can combine different finishes and different techniques. And those actually they'll be works of art to put in the new house. So they're going to be in my style. But awesome. Also when we get to the house, I'm actually going to record. I'm hoping to record the whole thing about how to do your own kind of design with your builder and all that. But starting from ground zero, the sky is the limit. And how do you choose? How do you make it all cohesive? How do you not go off on tangents and just make it so personal that somebody goes in there? Because you got to really think about resale. Even if your kids are going to inherit, you don't know if they're going to want to sell it. You don't want to go too crazy wild, like have an elephant cage in the middle of your living room or something.
Or a fireman pull to the basement, like wine cellar or something.
Yeah. So you got to be kind of cool.
A little forward thinking. Keep it open.
Yeah, and we're in the woods. And we're in the Pacific Northwest where craftsman style homes, the bungalows, are big. They've always been big since they invented, Green and Green back in Pasadena, California, invented the style. And it was, and so you can kind of cross over with a little bit of Art Nouveau. And so we'll maybe do some stained glass and do some murals and do some beautiful Venetian plasters. Our daughter Isabel, she's the bomb. She's a 16-year-old college student.
What?
Oh my God, the girl!
Wow, super smart. Oh, that's so. You should be so proud. Way to go!
Yeah, and our son Cedric is 18. He started U of O, and he's a clarinet major. He wants to be a performer for maybe the Boston Symphony when he gets up there.
Big goals.
So he's stoked. Yeah, we got 2 kids started this year, and it's crazy. Well, it's crazy. I feel really bad though for this generation. It's so hard to meet friends, and socialize.
Right.
It's horrible for kids.
Right. And developing
and Halloween, I'm dying. I see these kids in Safeway, and their dad's buying them a pumpkin and treats, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? They can't go trick or treating, It's so sad. It's like
sad. One
of our major holidays. How are they gonna do that?
We are not going to let COVID ruin Halloween. Dang it. I hope that parents everywhere, I'm at the age where a lot of new parents have children out just barely old enough to start their trick-or-treating journey and to kind of really get into enjoying Halloween. So I feel for my peers, my friends that, how do I do this? And, I think we're all in this together and we find ways to very safely participate, like I thought about some great things. Like what if we just put like candy in a slingshot and fire them out the front door at the kids? Like, no, I'll shoot your kid's eye out. I don't want to do that. But what I've got going on is a little, we're going to put together a little cardboard box. And this is the extent of my artistic ability. We're going to make a cardboard box coffin and then we've got individually sealed baggies that we've already sanitized, and we're going to re-sanitize before and leave it out there so they can come up and just grab one baggie. And so hopefully that'll work.
You think they're going to grab one baggie? I know whenever I was a kid and I saw piles of candy, like,
big old paw in there, just take it. Yeah, just scoop it on 2 hands.
Oh, they have Snickers.
They do. I really was trying to convince my SO to make us the king-size candy bar house. So kids would know that, the one on the corner. Yeah. They give away king-size bars, right? Kind of like...
You know what? When I was single girl,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to buy all that candy because, the candy likes to stay on my hips. So I always had a big, huge jar of change. And I had nickels, dimes, and pennies. I wouldn't give my quarters out.
Of course not, no.
A handful of change.
Wow.
And then they could go buy, that. So if you have a big old, and that there's not going to be 100 kids going to your door.
Oh, no.
I was always in areas where there wouldn't be that many kids.
Yeah.
But I'd give them a handful of change.
That's kind of cool.
Might be something that because they're not going to, you can just say, hey, there's change at the bottom of this. Let's wash it, and then they can have it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm sure some ultra suspicious parent out there be like, what are they doing? Why would she put change? What do you think we are? Who knows? But hopefully, it's like a bonus. It's like getting, doing trick-or-treating all night long and then also getting a visit from the tooth fairy at the same time. Yeah. Since, everyone's teeth are going to be falling out from all the candy sugar. Yeah. So I really love answering the door for little kids. I don't have children. That's not a thing I'm going to be doing with my life, but I love entertaining kids and being full out into the costume, open the door and, making sure everyone feels special about their costumes, whether theirs is elaborate or not. Mm-hmm. I remember in my neighborhood growing up, a lot of kids didn't have a lot of money. And so costumes were really hand put together and it was tough, right? And I would see the same kids double dip my house and I don't really care. It's fun. Just have the candy. Oh, you want to take a whole handful? Go for it, little bud. If I see you a 5th time, then we might be having a conversation. But I remember one year I had kids show up and they switched masks and then came through again and gosh, you look so familiar, but I just can't quite place it. I'm forget, just take the candy. And their parents, where are these kids' parents? I don't know.
I remember back when we trick or treat, way back.
Yeah.
We used to get handmade treats like caramel apples and stuff.
Oh.
You can't,
not now.
Caramel apples and you'd be eating it, walking down the road. You wouldn't have any lights on or anything. And it was completely different.
I'm sure there were a lot of ER doctors out there these damn kids with these popsicles shoved down their throats. So we got to do something about these candy apples.
Yeah.
And then they launched a smear campaign. No, I'm kidding.
And they're hard, they're not hard to make. But,
oh, no, they're so delicious.
People don't want to make them, but I love them.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had one? I haven't had one in years.
A candied apple? I don't know. Gosh, I recently chipped my front tooth.
Caramel apple.
Yeah. When I think of a candy apple, it's like my brain is like, it's a caramel apple. It's the same thing. But I'm so sensitive about my teeth. And this year, I had an incident where I bit my face on a hard surface and I chipped the front of my money-making teeth. And so now I'm terrified to bite into things kind of very gingerly. I don't want to use my front teeth anymore. I'm getting to the point where I'm really concerned.
I used to love sunflower seeds, and I had to quit because I'm getting old teeth now. Mm-hmm. My front tooth, I finally got them matched, but
yeah,
I hit this one with a metal lunchbox when I was in 3rd grade. So always been a false tooth.
Oh, oopsie daisy. Yeah, I actually busted my tooth on a Zoom call of all things. Of all things.
Oh, but what? Oh, great.
I was on a Zoom call. Anyway, that's a story that involves alcohol, and we might omit that from this or save it for the broad strokes after hours.
One of those Zoom cocktail hours. We had one of those today. One of our friends is turning 70.
Oh, my gosh.
Gino is turning 70, so he's having a Zoom birthday party.
That's awesome.
That's fun.
Well, be careful and make sure you drink enough water so that you don't pass out and hit your face on a granite countertop. Can't tell you exactly how I know how that goes, but
I'll make sure to stay sitting down.
Yeah. The sad part was I was sitting down. I kind of melted. So I'm Zooming with my family. All right, we'll do the 30-second story, and we may keep it. I don't know. It's good stuff. But I was Zooming with the rest of the Todd family clan, and we never do that. We're kind of really long-distance relationship. We never check in. So for all faces to be present on one screen, it was kind of an achievement. So I went all out. I was drinking Captain and Coke, and I could feel the passy outies coming, and everyone's starting to blink off the screen one at a time, okay, bye, blink, okay, bye, blink. And so the Brady Bunch is dwindling, and the only person left on screen is my brother Toby's girlfriend. And she watched me, and I was like, bam, and then just head smack right on the thing. And I've passed out before from dehydration, so I kind of feel it coming on, and I know when the walls are closing in to go, oh no. And she caught me blink out, and all she did was text my brother, hey, I think your sister's dead. He texted her back and said, well, she's got chaperones there. She's fine. The next day I wake up and I'm like,
you need more training.
Right? I'm like, my teeth. Oh no. So yeah, but that was the story about how I'm super responsible and really do a good job of keeping my teeth together. So that's why Sober October is great. Now, everyone listening now is gonna be like, this house has got a problem. It's good.
It's youth. It's youth. Youth is wasted on the young.
It is. It totally is. But I wanted to I wanted to ask you about something before we sign off for today, and that is about that transition from military into the civilian life. Right. That's a big hot button, just generally speaking. But for women, it's extra hard. We don't feel the same cocoon of brotherhood that our male counterparts experience during service. And there are lots of women, I know you're out there saying it right now, going, I had a great time and they were the best. Good. I'm glad. Very, very good. I am proud of that. I'm glad for you. But I know for me, that wasn't always my experience. And so I felt like my talents, my intelligence, my work was really undervalued for most of my career. I got out and I just didn't know how to do something else and, feel like, okay, well, is this going to be respectful of my talent, or am I going to be received the same way, or should I even attempt to do the same job I had when I was in? And I just didn't know what the hell to do with my life because I'd been trained to just follow orders, learn the system, do a great job with that. But when you're given, it's like choice paralysis. You go to a Mexican restaurant with 15-page menu and you're like, I don't know what I want to eat. I just wanted tacos, but now there's so much. I was overwhelmed, and I didn't give the trade industry even a second thought because I thought it's just going to be the same bullshit. I'm going to leave, be surrounded by men. They're going to think I'm terrible. They're going to underestimate me. They're going to make it unnecessarily hard for me to feel successful, to move up and move through and learn. And I just, I thought about it for a second, but I was worried that it was just going to be another terrible experience. And it doesn't sound like that's the way it was for you, was it?
Well, you're always going to have haters.
Yeah,
you're
of course. Of course.
I just saw that post, the hater, that he would never hire a female crew.
First comment on the YouTube.
I had a really good boss when I was doing the aquariums over in Europe. He hired mostly women. Mm-hmm. Mostly women to do concrete.
Wow.
Mostly women. And so we always were hard workers. And he learned that task early. And that was David Manwarren.
Cool. Shout out.
So, yeah. And he's retired now. But his Manwarren Corp is still operating. They do the best aquariums on the planet. They do the big aquariums.
The ones at the big...
the biggest aquariums,
so cool. So I think aquariums are really neat.
That, coral scape and everything. So that's one thing. And he always put the women, he put me on top of the crews. So I really have a lot of respect for him to do that. Paint crews. The hater that says don't hire a paint crew, I think I got more work because housewives decide who's coming in their house.
Very true.
If you respect the housewives, and it was me and my sister doing this stuff. We were all girl crew, and they felt way more comfortable with women in the house than a bunch of smelly guys.
Smelly dudes. Not all dudes are smelly. We know this. We love you guys.
Because too, painters have a bad reputation anyway.
Yes.
There's a lot of unprofessional, drug using people in the trade. And to have a professional attitude and being able to do quality work fast, I think actually makes the women painters shine. And so don't be afraid of that. I mean, I think we have actually an edge on being in this kind of a trade. Now, electricians, I mean, that's a different story. You have to have that strength to pull a cord.
Yeah. So
I think those women actually have it tougher than the painter girls. But I am so happy to see, because, when I was coming up, working retail in the 70s, because, I'm old. I'm 55 this year.
Age is a state of mind.
I keep hearing people think I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, okay, well, this is getting a little wrinkly, but, when I was in college, I just graduated with the film and animation in December, and all the people in school are 20s, and they all thought I was 30s, and I'm like, yeah.
Score, all right, I am looking good.
But seeing the whole transition, and especially with the VA, the VA, when I got out in 93, because I was in Desert Storm, and I got out in 93, and the VA was like, what do we do with these women? We didn't have women clinics.
I don't know. Send them to the gynecologist. That'll fix everything.
Yeah, it was bad, because when the second big baloney happened,
Yeah, the big baloney. We know that war.
The big baloney war. When it started on the second wave, and a lot of the men were coming back with PTSD because it really was a war. I mean, Desert Storm was so short.
Yeah, 3 hours or something like that.
Yeah, but I had the PTSD because of all the harassment that I got. I mean, I had constant harassment. So, I didn't go to war. I didn't shoot anybody, but I had all that harassment. And so I remember I kind of dropped out of the system because I was so busy, a lot with my company. That I dropped out, because if you don't go to your VA for your appointments in a year, they'll drop you out of the system, and then you have to go and reapply and get back in.
Yep.
So I was getting back in, and the nurse says to me, she goes, well, I just can't believe you're going to reapply, because these people really have problems. And I was like,
excuse me?
That's the attitude that the males were more important than the females back then. This is back in, the 90s. And so I am so grateful. The VA has taken such good care of me, especially in recent years. I've had eye surgeries. I've had all kinds of stuff with the VA. And now I think they're really good.
My experience with the VA has been, it's had its ups and downs, and I have found that at the point of service, when you do receive the care that you've worked very hard to get, that is when the VA shines. Those care, all those primary care practitioners, every specialty doctor I've worked with has been utmost professional and fabulous. It's just it's the red tape getting there, and there's a lot of hubbub about in the VA system, changing the wording of their motto, and I can't recall it perfectly from the top of my head, but essentially from him and his to they and them, or the warrior ethos that includes all genders, and that's really, really upset a lot of people because they think that using inclusive language somehow erases the service and merit and the legacy of service work, right? And being in the military. And that's not the case. It's unfortunate that people take that as a slap in the face when we're just trying to feel welcome and heard. And that's really the whole point of this podcast as well, is to let the whole world know that, us women, whether we're having a shit time of it or owning it like you are, we have feelings, we have experiences that are valuable, and to just at minimum be acknowledged as having value and contributing to, in our case, the military and service in that regard. And then with this industry, contributing to learning and growing the trade and elevating the trade, through the things that you're doing. I look forward to a day when we don't have to try so hard and the conversations are less, are less salty and angry and more, welcoming and open to the idea that putting it to paper, putting it through the airwaves, making it real in deed and in word by including women is really, it helps everyone be better painters, better faux finishers, better people, generally speaking.
Yep. And I really think the emphasis needs to be on being a good human being.
Absolutely.
Come on, we're human beings.
Yes.
We're all human beings. Mm-hmm. And to be equal and want all people to have equality.
Yes.
It's so important. It's like, come on, people, you're not, get over yourself, get over your good old boy club, your, gender club, your whatever club. Let's just be good human beings and accept everybody for who they are. And so long as you're not preying on the weak, I'm very much an advocate of, if somebody is being harassed, I don't care what they're being harassed for. Protect them.
Yes. Protect people, protect each other, do due diligence and treat people with respect. It's too easy. And on the note of, respect is also, being open to mentorship, both being mentored and becoming a mentee. I have found that mentorship has been challenging to find as a female veteran. And I ask that question a lot of my guests here, have you had good mentorship? And it sounds like you have.
Yes, and I've been I am a mentor.
You are a mentor,
I'm
yes.
a teacher now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot, I'm getting it on both sides of the paint and the leather, because a lot of people are afraid of giving their secrets and giving their support because they think it's going to take away from their career. And it's not. It never does. The more you teach others, the more it elevates the craft.
Rising tide.
Lifts all ships. Pinterest. Okay, Pinterest is a perfect example. When it started, you saw some cool stuff, but now I see stuff and I'm like, how is that done? Because I can't figure out that, and so it makes me try new things. And it makes me elevate my craft. So the more you give, the more you can learn. And I think it's really important as an artist, because we're all artists. Every single human being is an artist. That's
you
the
bet.
Human element. And it doesn't matter if you, arrange toothpicks on the sand. Everything takes art. And that's why monkeys and elephants, the elephants paint supposedly, but
I've seen them. I've seen the videos. It's crazy.
But that's what the human thing is, and acknowledging you as an artist. Because I think that was the huge step, is saying I am an artist. I don't care if you roll a wall. If you roll a wall and you can cut a line and you can make that have no halos and no holidays and no, and it's perfect, that's art.
That's not just good work.
Do that on many. It's art. It's craftsmanship, and craftsmanship is art.
And craftsmanship, craftswomanship, it's a human talent. I don't mind the whole man thing. Oh yeah,
I call myself a fisherman.
Right.
I call myself a Because it's human.
Of course, yeah. It's still part of our species.
I don't know what happened to my other bud. It fell off.
It's okay. Bye-bye, buddy. No. But yeah, no.
It's in my hair somewhere.
Lost in the mane, the tangled mane. Well, it has been an incredible hour chatting with you today, Annie. I definitely... I'm super impressed with the life that you've lived, the challenges you've overcome coming out of the military and just being your baddest self and never ever letting haters, doubters, people get you down. I mean, gosh, look at what you've built and are continuing to build even post 2020 apocalypse fire burning down. It's pretty incredible. And folks, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I want to make sure that everybody checks out AnnieMargaritaArt.com. That is her website right now.
Actually, it's Annie Margarita Art or AnnieMargarita.com.
AnnieMargarita.com. Excuse me. I've made a faux pas. Annie Margarita.
Annie Margarita Art at Instagram and Facebook, though.
That's right. That's right. She is on the Instagram and on Facebook. She's doing leatherwork, faux finishes. She is a thought leader working with the paint hive. I'm excited to see some more of that, some of the teaching that you've been doing. And you said you're putting on a big to do for another project, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when is that due to air?
Well, I'm hoping to finish filming in November. Mm-hmm. So maybe end of December or beginning of January it will be published.
Awesome.
It's pretty complicated filming by yourself.
Definitely. So, I can relate. Yeah.
The director, the writer, the film, the cinematographer, the artist, so it's a little more complicated. Good
thing you have this incredibly diverse wealth of education and experience. My gosh, you can do it all. That's impressive.
Well, you only get it once. You only get to be here once.
That's right.
Let's do what we want,
Do everything that you can and love and do the things you love.
Yes.
Awesome.
Most important thing.
Exactly. Oh, it's been such a great chat. Once again, check her out on the Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow our podcast at broadstrokespodcast.com. We are on Spotify. We are on iTunes. We are everywhere that you can find your favorite podcasts. And don't forget also to check out the Spotify Broad Strokes playlist. We've got songs from Annie as well we're including for the Season 1 jams. And we will be seeing you all next time on Broad Strokes Podcast. Make sure you stay tuned and check out our uncut scenes on YouTube at Broad Strokes TV. So that's YouTube, searching for the Broad Strokes TV. And for now, I'm T Squared, Tana, your host here at Broad Strokes. Thanks for joining us, Annie, and we will catch you all next time.
Thanks for tuning into Broad Strokes, a paint contracting podcast for women by women.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for behind-the-scenes content, guest galleries, memes, and more. If you want to be on the show, shoot us an email to broadstrokes@imamedia.com. And until next time, I'm your host, Tana Todd, and it's been a pleasure BSing with you today.
Sponsored by Benjamin Moore and Estimate Rocket.